In this video, we are going to learn about parliamentary democracy, which is something that I learned about today from Brain Pop. So what is a parliamentary democracy? Parliamentary democracy is essentially, on this map, the red, orange, yellow, and maybe green, and not olive, because that's Myanmar, a military dictatorship, and maybe the pink countries of Morocco and Jordan. Okay, Google. What form of government is Jordan?
Jordan has had 4 forms of government: parliamentary system, unitary state, constitutional monarchy, and dual monarchy.
Well, it's a parliamentary system. I don't know whether that's the same thing as parliamentary democracy. Okay, Google. Is Jordan a democracy?
.org. Democracy. Jordan is a constitutional monarchy ruled by King Abdullah II bin Hussein. The king may dissolve the National Assembly, forcing new elections.
So, this is what happens. The most important element of the parliamentary democracy is the parliament itself, which is the legislative branch of the parliamentary democracy. A parliamentary democracy has works like this. The country that the parliamentary democracy is divided into a bunch of sections. When it comes around to national election time, people from each section choose which party they want to represent their section in the national parliament. If a certain political party already wins that section, even if it didn't get a majority but it just got more votes than any individual other party, then that party's candidate wins that section and gets to represent it at the national parliament. Once this is all done and every single section of a certain country is accounted for, or the section that has the party that has the majority of seats in parliament, there might need to be maybe a coalition of different parties banding together. If no party has a majority, the party chooses which one of its members of parliament will become prime minister of the country. That's how it works in a lot of parliamentary democracies. In Canada, where I don't live, it's a bit special. There's an election. First, there's a prime minister who advises the queen on picking a lieutenant governor. The queen picks a lieutenant governor who is the official representative of the queen. This video might become outdated. Me continuously referring to the monarch of Great Britain and Ireland as the Queen might soon become outdated. No, I'm not going to say the Queen's going to identify as male or non-binary soon. I'm saying that the Queen might die soon. Then that lieutenant governor is the person who officially appoints the prime minister in the following election. So basically, this is how a broad sense of parliamentary democracy. A country broken up into sections. Each section, a party wins a certain section if it has the most votes out of all the other individual parties in that section. If a party wins that section, then that party's candidate for that section represents that section and gets a seat in the national parliament. Once all the seats are done, the party with the majority of seats in parliament, or maybe a coalition if no seat has a majority, chooses the prime minister and the prime minister's cabinet members, which effectively makes the executive branch a subsidiary of Parliament. And luckily, the Supreme Court or hopefully the Supreme Court also isn't in here. Now, unlike in the United States and a lot of countries that have full presidential system, in which the president can be, or a lot of presidential systems in which the president can only be removed from office after being formally charged by the legislature of a crime committed while in office. So, for example, in the United States, the president, vice president, or federal judges can be impeached for crimes that they commit in office. However, prime ministers in parliamentary democracies aren't just held to a standard of follow the law. They're also held to a standard of make sure that enough of us continue liking you, your policies, and your government. Because guess what? If we don't like you, your policies, and your government, we can just simply have a vote of no confidence, which is quite literally a vote of no confidence, saying that a vote of no confidence is literally a vote saying that the majority of members of parliament have no confidence in the prime minister's ability to run the government. Once that is done, once a vote of no confidence is given, the prime minister resigns from being prime minister and goes back to her or its seat in parliament, and ends up and the party with the majority of votes, or maybe not or maybe a coalition, if no party has a majority of parliament, gets to pick a new prime minister, at least a minister who will serve out the time until the next election. So, I don't know about you, but I think I'd rather be a president of the United States than a prime minister of a parliamentary democracy. Because the president, he's staying in office until the only ways that he will leave office are A, of his own free will, by simply retiring after not successfully winning re-election, B, resigning as in the case with Richard Milhouse Nixon, C, being declared inable, which will happen if the president has an extreme medical or mental condition. For example, if the president has to undergo emergency surgery, the vice president will become acting president for a while until the president can return. Or maybe for the rest of the president's term, if the president, for whatever reason, cannot return. By death, yes, because there have been 8 instances in history where people have just died in U.S. history, while people have died before completing their term as president, or being removed after being impeached for a federal crime. However, the prime minister of a parliamentary democracy can be kicked out of office if enough members of parliament are like, we don't like you, we don't have confidence in your ability to run this country, go back to your seat in parliament, we're appointing someone else. So that was, by the way, with places like Switzerland, Suriname, these 4 dots in the Pacific, Botswana, and South Africa, that's actually the president. The president gets picked that is in, what is it called, parliamentary democracy with a a parliamentary republic with a president instead of a prime minister. The president gets picked by the, what's it called, the parliament, and might or might not be subject to that entire votes of no confidence thing. Totally different than impeachment. I can receive a vote of no confidence from Parliament even if I haven't committed a crime. An example, I've experienced this in BitLife while serving as Premier of the Canadian province. In BitLife, there have been instances where I've been removed from office after a vote of no confidence for literally writing a book. I'm pretty sure it's not illegal for provincial premiers of Canada to write books. Okay, Google. Books written by Justin Trudeau.
Justin Trudeau is the author of 6 books. Here are the first 3. Common Ground, the 2015 Canadian federal election debate on foreign policy, the Monk debates, and Für eine bessere Zukunft.
Well, he's the prime minister, which is kind of like a premier over the entire country, and he's allowed to write books, so obviously it isn't illegal. So that is Parliament. Now I'll go through all of the parliamentary systems. There is Canada, Belize, Haiti, some dots here like the Bahamas. Technically, Suriname, this thing isn't a country, it's a part of France. That yellow. There's Iceland, which is not 80s majority. 6% is not a majority. Norway, 8% is not a majority. Sweden, 13% is not a majority. Denmark, 20% is not a majority. Finland, Germany, the UK, Ireland. And if anyone's wondering what these colors mean, blue means that it is a full presidential republic. There's a president that is selected in a nationwide election, and the greens means a presidential republic where the president is selected by the legislative body. Yellow means semi-presidential republic. It's a parliamentary republic with both a prime minister and a president. And red, orange, green, and orange is parliamentary republic. Red is parliamentary constitutional monarchy. Olive is like the Constitution says that the government should be this way, but someone else, most likely the military, is like, I want it that way. Tell me why ain't nothing but a heart. Tell me why the Constitution says this way. Tell me why, but the military say I want it that way. Okay, so that was a brief description. Then there's, what other colors are there? There's this pinkish color as you see in Morocco and Jordan and Bhutan and Tonga, where there's a constitutional monarchy. The legislative and executive heads are someone not the monarch. Like, for example, maybe they're a president or a prime minister and a parliament or congress, but the monarch still has some executive and legislative power, or both. Then there's this dark purple thing, which is an absolute monarchy. Brown means it's a one-party country. The actual Wikipedia article said a one-party state, but this is a one-party country. China is not a state, China is a country. As you can see, China and Taiwan are different. China, one-party state. Taiwan, semi-presidential republic. And this Gray thing is just a blanket, none of the above. So, more parliamentary systems. There's Portugal, Spain, France, Luxembourg, Belgium, the Netherlands, Italy, that, Andorra, Monaco, Malta, Cyprus. Actually, not Cyprus. I don't know. These dots are messing me up. Switzerland, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Italy, Turkey. Actually, just joking about Turkey. That's a full presidential republic. There's Liechtenstein, Hungary, all former Yugoslav republics. Basically, the entirety of the Balkans, that's Greece, Albania, Bulgaria, and the Balkans. There's also Romania, Poland, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, Ukraine, Moldova, Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Russia, Kyrgyzstan, India, Pakistan, and what is this? Nepal, and Bhutan, Bangladesh, Ethiopia, and what are you? Somalia, Japan, Taiwan. Again, these islands, I know that's Tonga. Australia, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, Singapore, East Timor, Malaysia, Thailand, Cambodia, Sri Lanka, Madagascar. With these island dots. Algeria, Mauritania, Morocco, some Tunisia, Mali. Wait, I'll hold this to the map. Niger and Burkina Faso and Senegal, Egypt, both Congos, Sao Tome and Principe, Cape Verde, Mauritius, Namibia, what is that? That is Lesotho, Mozambique, a lot of these are probably just colonies and not actual countries. So, did I already... So, there's Haiti, and basically, literally everything in the Caribbean except for... And basically, literally every single independent country in the Caribbean except for Cuba and the Dominican Republic. There's also Kiribati and Samoa. Philippines, Micronesia, the Marshall Islands, and basically every single Pacific Islands country except for Palau. So that is the parliamentary system of doing a government. As you can see, a lot of countries do it, and it's one... The country is divided into sections. Each section has its own member of parliament that is chosen by the party that is essentially a representative of the party that won that particular section. Once the elections are done, the winning party of all of parliament, or maybe a coalition of parties, choose the prime minister and that prime minister's cabinet. And they can declare a vote of no confidence if they have no confidence in the prime minister's ability to run, and can just pick a new prime minister. By the way, the yellow countries also have a president along with a prime minister. The green, not olive, the green countries have a president instead of a prime minister. And that's all there is. I learned this stuff from Brain Pop and the Wikipedia article on government. Actually, I didn't actually read the Wikipedia article, I just looked at this picture. And the accompanying picture map key.